Hello, and thank you for joining us again with Hamilton Mechanical. Today we have my 1973 Honda CB350F, which stands for 4-cylinder. So it is a 350cc 4-cylinder, and today we're going to do an overview of how to install an electronic ignition kit. So it's already been installed, but I'm just going to do an overview here, just to let you know what all it involves, how easy it is, and you know, a lot of the ones that I looked at online said that the coils did not fit the stock brackets, and I wanted to clear that up because, as it turns out, that is nothing to be concerned with. So here we go. So the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is open up the seat. I'm going to remove the tank. Gas off. There's a little rubber right here that holds the tank on. Pull that back out of the way. It slides backwards. Remove the fuel line. Make sure you've turned your gas off. You don't want to spill your gas everywhere. Now we're going to set the fuel tank off to the side. Now, I'm going to remove the cover or the points. Now you can see what we have going on. Be sure not to damage your gasket. It's not much of a gasket. Okay. So right in this area right here is where our points originally were. And there's a cam. Cam right here originally went in like so, behind this nut right here. You hold this nut still and you remove this center bolt, and this comes out. And this piece that you see right here, see how it's able to move back and forth? This is your timing advance. So this is your cam that controls the timing advance. The slot in the back goes into the weights that are located behind this plate, and as the bike revs up, it shifts the timing, which in effect advances your timing. This kit, the only problem I had was this right here, the slot. I had to file wider because it got in a bind. It would advance and then not return. So you should make sure that this returns and advances all the way nice and freely. And make sure you put a very thin layer of grease on the shaft and in this area right here that all that contacts on, so that this can move nice and freely in your advance work. So this contains 2 magnets, or 1 magnet I guess, maybe one, yeah, 1 magnet. And I'm going to get you off the tripod here and get you a little closer. So if you look right in here, you can honestly set this up however you want. That's why the instructions are a little vague. This side I wired up exactly like the points were so that there wouldn't be any confusion, but the way this system works is each trigger controls 1 coil. This is what is called a waste spark system. What that means is when this coil is triggered, both these spark plugs fire. You have this spark plug here, and then you have this one here, which goes off to cylinder number 1 or 4, depending on which way you're looking at it. And so one cylinder is going to be on the compression stroke, where it needs the spark to ignite the fuel and air and make combustion. And the other one is going to be on exhaust stroke. So it's not really going to care very much that the spark plug has sparked. So that is why it is called a waste spark system. A lot of modern cars, before we went to individual coil packs, used a setup like this, but this is 1973 and this is actually pretty advanced stuff. So right here, I'm going to show you, I have my old coils, and I don't know if I can show this on camera, See that right there? These things are just, I mean, stiffer than dang it. And if you look down in there, there's not any wire left really for the plug-in to catch on to. I mean, I could have cut them down some and re-put the ends on them, but let's face it, these are from 1973. It was time to replace them. They still worked, and I'm still going to keep them, but these guys had it. So, we have the old points plate, new coils, and the kit came with new coil plug wire ends that screw on. There's a little screw down in there, and these just screw onto the plug wires. Now they give you a roll of spark plug wire, and you have to crimp these new ends on that go into the coils. So you do need a proper spark plug wire crimper in order to do that. I tried with a regular pair of crimpers. You cannot get it round enough to go into the coil. But the upside to this is these ends are available if you do mess up, and I would think if you could find a set of plug wires that had this same male end, that you could cannibalize a set of spark plug wires, because these ends just screw on. So you just take the wire, cut it to the length you need, screw these ends on, and you'd be ready to go. And that might be cheaper than buying or renting a crimp tool. So if you look here, we have run the wire in the same location as the original. I slipped some heat shrink over it just to keep it out of the way, but the only thing that moves in here is this piece right here, which I'll show you here in just a second anyway. So one thing I wanted to point out, because this is a huge misconception, in part by the manufacturer's instructions, they say that these coils do not fit the OEM brackets. Now if we look very closely, you can't see because I already have the coil installed, but if you see that gap right in there, okay, the original coil sat into that slot all the way down and sat in between those two outer edges. With some new bolts, some longer bolts than what come with the kit, that coil sits very nicely right on top because it is wider than that slot. So it sits very nicely on top of the aluminum. It tightens up very nicely, and it still clears the tank. So no problems there. None whatsoever. And these coils come with the ends that plug straight into your original harness, and you are good to go. Now one more thing I want to show you is how easy, bear with me here, get a nice view of my seat. There we go. I wanted to show you how easy this was to wire up. So right here, excuse my jinkety flasher, my flasher relay went out the other day and I had to use what I could find. Anyway, so Honda gives you a ground wire here for a 3-wire flasher relay, and you can use that ground because you're not using it for anything else. And don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. Let's see. Okay. So what I did was cut the old ends off the wires that came from my points and then crimp those on to the new wires that came from the electronic ignition. They don't give you any connectors for that ignition module, so make sure you have proper ends. And this one right here, it looks a little ghetto. I could have done a little better job. But what I've done here is that is your 12-volt feed to the rear brake light, and that gives you a switched 12 volts to feed the ignition kit with. So you've got switched 12 volts right there, ground right there, and in this same harness you have both the connectors that run to your coils to trigger the coils. So you can wire this all into this harness right here, and the only thing that sticks out is the ground wire that you can make look as neat as you want to. With the side cover on, and well, okay, so holding the camera, I can't get that back in, but anyway, you get the idea. You can put that all in there, and this is the only thing that you will see that looks non-stock. And so, if there's enough gas in my carburetors, I just want to show you, let's see, key, hello key. Okay, neutral, run. Yeah, well, I'm not sure you can see that running, but marks right there. Those are your timing marks, and there's corresponding marks on, let's see if we can actually line up here. Low compression. Okay, there's one. Okay. Nope, you passed it. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, I think you can kind of make that out. See that there is a, come on camera, focus. Yes, you see the T and the F. Okay, the T is what you want. The T is what your initial timing sets on. And F is, I think, the advanced mark. Anyway, when you get your timing light on, you just hook it to one of your wires, and you will see that mark line up. It's extremely easy to time. If I had more gas in my carbs, I probably should have hooked that light up and showed you guys, but it is extremely easy to time. So I just wanted to give you this overview of how simple this kit was to install and what a big difference it makes. Now let me tell you, I can drive this bike now. Before, it was basically like I was trying to race everywhere I went. It only really ran above $5 grand or so. Now she pulls strong, starting at about 2,500 and on, and with my 125 pound behind, I can go up the hill at 3 grand with no problems, and it doesn't sound like I'm trying to tear up the road. So very, very worth it. Money well spent for your safety, for the reliability, and everything else that you need when you are on a motorcycle. So points were great in the 70s, but these, I'm pretty sure these are actually Nip and Denso. So that leads me to believe they're very old, have probably been filed a million times. And I could have replaced them and set them up properly, and this bike would have run just fine. But honestly, you know, these are just, they're not really, it's a mechanical contact to trigger the coil. And anytime you have something mechanical, something can go wrong. And true, something can go wrong with electronics too. They could just fail to work altogether. But with points, things go wrong very often, and you know, this is not something I want to have to contend with when I'm driving my bike, you know, 40-50 miles away from my house. A 350, while not being the lightest bike in the world, I would imagine would disappear pretty quickly if left unattended on the side of the road, and that would be an ultimate shame. So any of you guys that are thinking about getting this kit for your 350Four, or for any of the Honda 4s, or any of the Honda Twins, or any motorcycle, if you guys have a motorcycle with points, please invest in a kit like this. I got mine at 4into1.com. I will put a link in the description. You know, these can be had all over the place. Shop around, find the best deal for you. Make sure you are buying something from an authorized dealer that has a warranty, just in case you have any problems. But when you see in the instructions something like, you know, coils do not fit the factory location, don't necessarily be turned off by that. With all the covers on this thing, you would never know that this has been done, and now I have a much more enjoyable ride and a much more reliable bike. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I would like to... Oh, wait a minute. Let me totally rephrase that here. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and hope you would like or subscribe or dislike or whatever. Do interact with my videos so that my stats on YouTube look better. And, you know, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers so that I can get my own link. Once I get past there, I really don't care how many more people want to watch me from there, but please subscribe. I need you guys. I need more subscribers. Help me grow this channel, and if there's anything else you guys want to see about this bike, let me know, and hopefully come spring I can take some videos riding this guy so y'all can get a first-hand view of what it's like to ride her. So you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will talk to you again really soon. Thank you.